Another Minute with Drew. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to Another Minute with Drew. And guys, I have something to admit. I have gas. That's gear acquisition syndrome to those who don't know. But then again, if you watch this show, I bet you also experience this. We've had so many great gear makers and guitar makers on that I bet it's really hard not to buy at least one of them. And for me, a synthesizer player, it's equally hard as well, because we've had so many great keyboards come out recently, like the Corgo P6, Arturia's Polybrute, and also my dream synthesizer, the Moog 1. But for me, it's even more difficult because, honestly, I hardly have enough room as it is to hold the synths I already have, so I really should not be buying more, if you know what I mean. But then I go to eBay and see a fully functioning Juno 106 that usually goes for like $3,000 for only $1,000, and I'm like, ooh, that's a fantastic deal. Give me the Juno, I want it. But then I look at my room and think, really, where would I put it? Like, I should really invest in a few 3-tier stands so I have some space to expand at least. Maybe even a bigger desk so I can fit some rack mounts. Maybe get a Moog DFAM or something, that would be a lot of fun. Anyway, on today's episode, Jack interviews the guys at LC Guitars about their different line of guitars. Hope you guys enjoy it. Catch you later.
All right, guys, it's another episode of Gear Guys, and I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Can you believe I think this is going to be our 10th episode with everything we've already recorded now, so that's exciting. 10 episodes down and power's still on. I just want to remind everybody that this is a Deco Entertainment presentation of Gear Guys podcast. Go to decoentertainment.com. Check out our artists. We do a bunch of great things like CD and vinyl pressing. Plus, if you have a band that's kick-ass, we may want to hear about it. So please submit, because we're always looking for new talent. And of course, I can't forget about Novell. Novell is our main sponsor that makes this possible. If you are in the market for a wedding or engagement band or just fashion jewelry, stop by NovellDesignStudio.com or Novell Global and, get something nice for yourself, get something else nice for your significant other. So it's been a really, really long week, and I'm going to be tripping over my tongue. I couldn't even have a drink tonight before I was going on because of how long this week was. So watch out. I may say some intelligent things, maybe. I don't know if that's even possible. But I'm here today with some folks I found on Facebook. They make a very unique guitar. You're scrolling through Facebook and you're like, wow, that looks like crap. That looks like something else. And then you come across something that's like, ooh, that's different. I want to learn about that. It's like seeing a pretty woman for the first time. You're like, wow, let me take a step back. Let me breathe into this and, see what this is all about. So Robert, why don't you tell us a little bit about your guitar company? What made you get involved in this ridiculous, industry where everybody just wants to beat you up and take your money? And just kidding. It's a great industry. But what made you want to get into making guitars at the level that you do now? And then, of course, we're going to get into the spec, which everybody's waiting on.
Cool. So I started off about a little over 20 years ago. I was scrolling through some of the guitar magazines. I play guitar poorly, and I always thought if I had a better guitar, I would be a much better player. And I think that's a lot of times people get that in their head. So I was scrolling through the guitar magazines and I come across this page for Warmoth guitar parts. I was like, perfect. This is something I can buy a neck. I can build my own bodies, have some pretty good woodworking skills. That's something I can get started in. So purchased some stuff off of them, put together my first guitar, and it turned out fantastic. Moving on from there, I've had a couple people then, friends of mine, say, hey, I'd love to get one. So kept going with that for a little while. And then eventually it just got to the point where it was costing me more to do what I was doing than what it was actually, what I was making to do it. So I kind of put it on hold for a while. Finished kind of what I was doing with school, went out, worked on the road, worked on construction for a long time. And I finally got back to the point where working on the road like I was is killing me. So I'm like, I have to do something different. So I got back into guitars. I picked up one of my old guitars. It needed completely restored, did that to it. And then I just started researching, how do I make better guitars? How do I build better guitars? I took some classes with some luthiers. And then it just sort of grew from there. First class that I took was with a luthier named Eric Schaefer. He would actually be a great one for your show sometime. He is an acoustic guitar builder out of Burnville, Pennsylvania. he offers an 8-day acoustic guitar building class. So within 8 days, you build an OM style flat top guitar. Really quick, fast paced. You're just boom, 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 getting this guitar built. And you end up with a really superior product when you're done with it. So after that, then I kind of moved on where I started building my own necks and really grew from there. And then decided last year that I'm ready to take this to another level. Actually, it was in October of 2019. And I actually quit my day job.
Good for you.
And built a shop. I built a 16 by 24 shop to work out of. And then I took a trip to England and built, let me grab it, studied under Crimson Guitars with Ben Crow.
He's an awesome dude.
Built this.
Wow.
So after I got done building this, he kind of gave me one of the highest compliments. He's like, we should have paid you to come take our class other than instead of me going there to take the class. So I was already fairly experienced luthier when I went there. You can see the headstock. It's pale moon ebony.
Mm-hmm. And real quick, guys, if you don't know who he's talking about, this guy, Ben, he's got these tattoos on his head. He looks crazy, but I've been following him since, I guess, 2009, maybe, when he was just starting to make luthier tools. Crimson Guitars does the Great Guitar Build Off, I think it is, right? Yes. Where he encourages you to push the boundaries with what you're able to do as a luthier. And if you haven't checked it out, don't stop watching this now, but go check it out after you're done watching this or listening to this, if it's only audio for you. But the stuff that he does is crazy. And I love the fact that he opens up his shop to teach people. So want to give him a plug. He's a great dude. I never met him, but I follow him. I feel like he's part of my life. You know how that works? So I'm sorry to cut you off there. Why don't you finish telling us about that?
So went there, built this guitar while I was there. It is English walnut, front and back, and the actual neck is made from the same slab of wood. It's not a one piece. It is a set neck design, but it is made from the piece of wood that was right next to the body. It has this cool little feature. Not sure how well it shows up, but there was a big knot hole right in the middle of it, right where the bridge is at. And we filled that with epoxy. And it just kind of gave the guitar its own special characteristics to it.
That's cool.
So a little bit about it. It is a 25-inch scale, 12-inch radius, pale moon ebony fretboard, just standard nickel silver frets on this one. My own personal guitars, when I build them, I use normally stainless or Evo Golds. Pickups are Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates. Got a real nice tone. This heavy body just kind of resonates forever with it. But matching cover plates on the back. I kind of like to, when I build, I like wood. I know a lot of places you see the plastic cover plates, you see the plastic truss rod covers, but when I build, I want to make as much as I can of the guitar wood. So that's why I kind of go with that on there.
That's great. But guys, with the specs we were just discussing, for those of you that don't know spec like that, this is going to have a feel of a Paul Reed Smith in scale length. The body shape is a little bit narrower of a single cut with a tummy cut on the back. So you're going to be able to hold it and get that a little bit of a tummy cut for the big guys like me when you're playing like a Strat. But the sound of it with your Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates, you're talking about an Alnico 2. What are those, 8.2 on the output?
Somewhere in that area.
So you're going to get that slash sound, that old 1959 Les Paul, that if you're chasing that sound, that's what you're going to get out of it, because it's going to be slightly, I don't want to say less hot, but some of the frequencies, the harmonics that would come out of like an Alnico 5 are eliminated and it's dialed back. It's actually one of my favorite pickups, the Pearly Gates. So again, Les Paul players that like a Paul Reed Smith feel, this will be good for you. What shape is the neck you got on there? Is that a C?
It's just a basic C shape on this
C
neck.
shape.
Probably 21 millimeter at the 12 or at the first fret, and down to about a 23 at the 12th fret.
Now, is that a volute or is that just a shadow?
Yes,
volute. That's a volute. Very nice. You got a scarf joint on there, or is it one piece?
Nope, that is a one piece.
One piece volute.
About a 12 degree headstock angle.
Ooh.
So
12 degrees. So you're talking like Gibson, what, from 70s?
Yeah.
12 degrees?
That'd be that era.
Okay. So it's not going to give you as much breakage as the old 14. So that's good. But the volute will definitely give you some more strength. So that's a plus.
Yep. My personally, when I build guitars, if you want to hand me the V,
Oh, that's sharp.
This is actually the newest guitar I just finished up. The customer's house who I'm actually at today, he owns a couple guitars of mine and a couple basses. So we just finished this up for his son for his 17th birthday. 17th birthday.
That's a lucky kid, man.
Great player though, really good. So I love multi-laminate necks, multi-piece necks. So this is a 5-piece with Honduran mahogany and flame maple.
That's beautiful.
On the neck. And once again, it's a
is it true oil? Joint. True oil that you're finishing it in?
This is actually just sprayed with a satin. The back is bright tone, crystal-lac bright tone, water-based instrument lacquer. I sprayed the back in a satin. Gives you that nice slick feel.
Oh, it looks so sharp.
Front high gloss.
Is that also a 25-inch scale length, or did you go true to Gibson?
This is a 24 3/4-inch scale length, 12-inch radius, and Evo Gold fret wire with the big jumbo Gibson style fret wire on it. So it's the 6105s, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, the medium jumbo, whatever they call them.
It's a nice big jumbo fret. So ebony fretboard, and I also all of my fretboards you probably can't see it, but I bind my fretboards. And it is bound with ebony with a little white maple purfling strip falling in between the binding and the fretboard itself.
That's sharp. And for those people just listening, this guitar is like an Ecto Cooler green burst on a V. And it does have that just classic, I don't want to say classic Gibson V style because it's slightly different and you could see the angles on it. But if you want something that, is sharp, that's a V. And is that flamed? Is that an actual cap or is that a laminate?
It's a quoted maple top. It's about a quarter-inch thick.
Quarter-inch thick. And it's stayed Ecto Cooler green. It is so cool. It's
actually poison green is the color. Poison. It's an auto air, automotive paint.
It's so
candy
cool.
color sprayed over top. So on the edges, like I said, I don't like plastic binding if I can avoid it. So I did a 45-degree chamfer the whole way along the edge. That kind of gives you that natural binding look instead of really having cool.
Without the plastic binding, though, you can't tell how old she is because those turn color.
True.
So that guitar is going to look like a baby its whole life.
Yeah. A couple other little details. I did a ebony butt cap on the end of the heel, just to kind of give you that little bit of extra detail to it. Some ebony inlays here and there. Headstock is the same matching quilted maple with the actual truss rod covers cut out of the same top. So
yeah, the truss rod cover, is that a compass?
Yes, my logo is a compass rose. I adopted it a few years ago when I was deciding to get into this full time. I was like, it's a whole new direction in my life. So
cool. I
need a compass, and that's the compass logo on it. Tuners on this are hip shot locking with the open gear. And I normally use hip shot bridges exclusively, but the gold was on back order. So I was able to, these are Godos.
Godo's great as well.
Just as good, but I try to buy as much American made products as I can. My pickups, I source the pickups in this are Planet Tones. Really great pickups made here in the USA, handmade, good price on them, and they're really just a great pickup. So they're the Heritage Blues pickups from Planet Tones.
Very good. I'm not familiar with them. Do you know what the output is?
I just looked them up. What was it?
I think they're in the
8.75 and 7.75. I believe is what they were. Right around
that's really going to give you a traditional V sound.
Exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah. You're using really 500K pots?
Yeah, 500K Borns.
Borns? Okay, yes.
So they got you really nice quick turn on them, and then Switchcraft.
And that's just volume or volume tone?
Volume and tone.
Yep, very cool.
And then I use pretty much exclusively the electro socket input jack.
Okay.
So it makes a nice quick connect. It's good solid. It's not going to pull out like a telly jack will, and I flush mount them.
That's very important.
And then
those are details that you're talking about that most people don't realize unless they've played. So, look at that. You have the flame maple on the back as well.
Yeah, matching control cover plate, and then just a mahogany. I believe this is an African mahogany. body,
it's
but
really
the neck
nice.
is Honduran mahogany.
So do you CNC the bodies or do you hand cut everything yourself?
I do a combination of the two. This was all hand cut. I CNC'd out my template.
Okay.
I did the design on Fusion 360, and I CNC out the template. Some of the guitars I actually do use the CNC for a little bit more. I'm still learning that process. I hand carve my necks. I pretty much everything on the neck is all hand done. So let me move that one out of the side and pull out one that is.
Now these are a standard production that you're showing me now. I know the one that you did with Ben's, just your baby.
Yeah,
that's what I saw. Okay, folks.
This is probably the one you saw.
All right, I got to say something about this. So I have never, ever, ever played a Music Man that I liked for a few different reasons. They're great guitars, but I love the body shape, that awkward offset, and that's what attracted me to this. But your F holes, I just think they look like little Cheetos. Right? They're cool. Yeah, but there was a blue one that you had on there.
Yes.
Can you flip it around real quick? Because one of the things that attracted me most of this was the relief cut. Because bolt-on neck, I'm a bolt-on neck fan. I believe that transfer of sound, you're going to get better without glue if it's set up right. That's just my personal opinion. You know, tell me to go to hell in the comments if you want. But the relief on that is something you don't see on a guitar that looks like that. That's normally offered on the Ferrari guitars that you need to get up to the 37th fret for some reason. But that relief is nice because I got big mitts and my palm gets bruised at the end of the night when I play a traditional telly. So that attracted me to this.
Yeah, get you right up into that 22nd fret with
no
problem whatsoever.
That's great. So why don't you walk us through the specs on this particular one?
Sure. So to start off, it has, I am a big proponent for my two main brands that I use all the time is going to be Hipshot or Graphtec. So with this one, we use the Graphtec ratio tuners.
Awesome tuners.
If you've ever used those, they are probably the best tuners on the market.
Yep.
They're pricey, but they are 100% worth it. So it is a flamed roasted maple neck. And just so you're interested, I haven't been doing this for very long. This is the 15th guitar that I built.
Well, you did a good job.
So it is a roasted flame maple neck with a roasted flame maple fingerboard bound with the same piece of roasted flame maple on the sides. I do that so you don't get those little sharp tangs sticking out after every time you do a guitar. After 6 months, the fretboard shrinks a little bit and you end up with a fret sprout. So I try to bind all of my fretboards for that reason.
What about truss rod? What type of truss rod?
Truss rod is a Allied Lutherie dual action truss rod and 2 carbon fiber rods through the neck.
You're doing reinforcements on this?
Yes. I don't mess around with guitar necks
on
anymore.
Your 15th guitar that you built, you're doing reinforcements with carbon fiber.
All my guitars now are 100% carbon fiber reinforcement.
Yeah.
It's just a way to go. I don't want a guitar out there that somebody's going to come back to me in 5-10 years and say, hey, this neck twisted.
Oh, not even that, folks. What this means is if you're just, going on tour, if you've never gone on tour before, you're a gigging musician, you're going in and out of bars. With having a reinforced neck, we all know that wood, it's living, even though it's dead, will move. And if you don't have a tech with you and say you're, getting on a plane in Chicago and it's 10 degrees outside and you're going to a gig in LA, or maybe it's 74 degrees outside, when you open up that case, that wood is going to adapt to its environment and move. And having a good truss rod and having those carbon fiber rods, it's not going to move. So you can get on stage and play and, your notes aren't, a quarter step off. That's impressive, man. That's really great.
So the neck is a true oil finish on it, just a natural with a couple coats of wax. I think it's an important thing to do after you do the true oil. It gets rid of that stickiness. Just put a couple coats of good quality furniture wax on it. Body is roasted ash, kind of something you don't see yet. It's just something that's fairly new out there in the market.
I've only seen Jeff Kiesel use that.
Yeah, it is chambered. This whole guitar weighs right around 5 pounds. So it is light. And it sustains.
Is it chambered on either side and under the bridge?
On both sides.
Under the bridge or solid under the bridge?
Solid under the bridge down to here. And then the chambering comes in basically right almost
under the bridge. Okay, great.
Bridge. So full chambering. roasted ash. It is a 4-piece body with a 2-piece top. With the shortages of ash that's going on right now, it was kind of even tough getting the 4-piece. But
could you hold the backup to the camera so we could see? Now, I wouldn't have even suspected through video that was anything more than 2. You did a really great job of lining the grain up.
And then the control cavity covers are matching ash, and something I just started experimenting with.
Magnets.
Little magnets in them. So it
They
makes
work
it easy,
great,
quick
man.
and easy.
Yep.
Quick and easy to get into it. Same up at the top with the switch. So
That's great.
hip shot bridge, and pickups on it are DiMarzio Twang King and DiMarzio Vintage P90.
So those are not silent. Those are, with 60 cycle hum.
They got a little bit of noise to them.
That
Yep.
day puts character in there.
Exactly.
So what type of shielding do you use?
Just electro paint.
Electro paint?
Yeah, the painted shielding.
Okay,
on
there
this
you
one.
go. Very good. Oh yeah. So that's, I think the paint is better. I know a lot of guys like to use copper tape under it, but you're not going to get it, as good. That paint's going to soak into the wood. It's going to give you a nice boundary. And if you're playing in a crappy place, you don't need to worry about the hum.
And with being the chambered, I was actually able to get the paintbrush pretty far up into either side of the control cavity to
Very
kill
nice.
a lot of that noise. And it's pretty quiet.
So what do you call that model?
I call this the Ghost.
The Ghost.
Yeah.
And what inspired you? I mean, I see
It's-
T in
it's
there.
a-
I see Music Man. I see a bunch of stuff.
It's a lot of a Music Man Axis, the Eddie Van Halen guitar. I did change it up a little bit. I fattened up the bottom end just a little bit. Did a little bit of work up here in the upper horn for the single cut. So it's very close to an Axis, but that was the inspiration with it. But I am not a Floyd Rose guy, and every Axis I've ever seen has a Floyd Rose. I've never seen one as a Telecaster. So this is kind of one of my signature models that I do right now. It's just, I offer it in other pickup selections. I have done it. The light blue one that you saw was a set of Porter pickups with just a set of standard Telecaster pickups in it.
Nice. I got a question for you on the saddles. So on all my string through bodies, I know you mentioned Graphtec. I've spoken to, I think his name is Gray, that works at Graphtec, about this. On my saddles, if I'm using Graphtec saddles on a string through, I don't get my ground all the time.
Yeah.
I have to use a brass saddle. Have you found a way around that?
This is a brass saddle on this.
Yeah.
But the way around that is, this isn't a string through. I actually
Okay.
it as a rear.
Oh, so there you go. Okay.
Yep. So this is a top loaded, but the
Yep.
way around it is ground one of your strings
Mhm.
on the back. You just drill a hole through your string ferrule into
Yeah.
your ground cavity. And if you ground one of those strings,
It'll work.
whenever it comes up through, it's going to ground the rest of them.
Gotcha. Yeah. That I was struggling with that on a piece that I had made. I'm like, boy, this would be great if it would just shut up,
Exactly.
and I had to switch them out to brass saddles on there. So out of the guitars that you have, this is the main one in your line. Now, do you make the V as a production one as well?
No, the V was a one-off. The guy that bought that from me, he's probably my best customer. I'm going to show you some of the basses that he owns.
That's great.
I'm actually at his house here. So he's a bass player, and his boy just started into guitar not too long ago. And he wanted something special. He wanted something green, and he wanted a
That's
V.
cool.
So that's what we built for him.
All right. Before you get into the basses, why don't you tell us what your starting price is for that guitar?
This guitar right here is $1,650.
That's not bad at all.
Plus
I mean, we're
case and
talking.
shipping. You'll probably be up to about 1,800 with case and shipping.
All right, so you get an 1800 on a hand-built guitar, hand-carved neck that has dual reinforced truss rods with upgraded pickups. And I mean, if you can't see what this is, I'm going to have links to this in the article. Folks, go look at this. This is a guitar that if you would go into one of the big brand retailers that they would have, my guess is $3,500, $4,000 if that said, Gibson, Fender, or something like that on that. So it's very, very, if I was to pick that up and play it, I would be comfortable as a Les Paul player because where the controls are, as a Tele player because of the way that the neck is set, as a Music Man player because of the way that the body is set up, the thickness and the bottom of it. And also it has a traditional, almost a T style headstock on it. Would you do reverse headstock for people if they wanted?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The light blue one that you saw was a reverse headstock on that.
I'm one of those weirdos that just believes that extra length, even though it's before the nut, gives you a little bit more of a bottom end that's a little bit looser, which I like.
Yeah.
I like a loose bottom end on my guitar, and my women, watch out. So yeah, let's check out those basses, man.
So the good friend of mine plays bass, and he messaged me, or I came over to visit him one day, and he has some basses. He has a couple Warwick neck through thumb basses, so not low end basses at all.
No.
And he's like, have you ever built a bass? I'm like, nope. He said, could you build a bass? I'm like, sure. He's like, could you make it a neck through? I'm like, okay. And just as to say, this was after I'd finished 7, 8 guitars.
So you should be a pro by now.
Yep. So I was like, oh yeah, I can do that. No problem at all. So what we came up with is this bass right here.
Man,
so it is a
sexy
multi-laminate neck. It is walnut and wenge neck, 5-piece neck. It is a ebony fretboard with flame maple binding on the side. And then the wood, the sides are a wood called macaw. It's a very close relative of a mahogany, but it's a little bit lighter weight. So this whole base ended up weighing in at about 7.5, 8 pounds for a neck through base. It is extremely light, and it will just vibrate forever. He likes all of his basses set up as BEAD tuning. So I buy a 5-string set and I throw the G string away. And that's what we put on his 4-string basses.
That's great.
So it features hip shot, once again, the ultra lightweight USA tuners. So
what's the scale on that?
34.
Okay.
34 inch, inch and 5/8 nut. And then 19 millimeter spacing per string on the bridge. Hip shot bridge, neck through, or string through on it as well. So,
and for those that are just listening right now, just imagine the most expensive Ibanez bass in shape, but with a bunch of really cool contours. I mean, the horn that you have on the back there, the way that that's carved out is just awesome. And I noticed that you did it on the front as well, right? Where you did the relief cut on the horn as well as on both sides. That's just
so it gives you a nice.
Yeah,
grip.
that's sharp, man. Most people don't think of that.
I'll give you a little hint. The body shape of this is almost a dead copy of a guitar.
Which one?
The Music Man Majesty.
No kidding.
Yep.
Oh, it's sharp, man. The way that is, I mean, it just really is sharp.
The guitar itself has a lot of mixed opinions on whether people like them or not, but it makes one gorgeous bass.
Oh, it looks like it would be comfortable to play. I mean, being 7 pounds, you got all the cuts in the right places, so it's comfortable while you play it. It's a good scale length. I mean, that's a working man's guitar. That's a really great thing.
So like I said, he has some very high-end basses. And every time I come over here and see him play, he has this in his hands.
Well, we won't ask you the price because I don't know if his wife is going to listen to this later, but if you wanted to actually get into a bass that's similar to that one.
Similar to this one is about a $2,500 starting price on it.
Okay.
Which is Bartolini active pickups in it, a 2-band EQ with balance knobs on it, all hip shot hardware. So it is top of the line equipment, hardware and stuff on it. Once again, 2-piece or the 5-piece neck, but it does have the 2 carbon fiber rods and a thumb wheel truss rod.
You did 2 carbon fiber rods on you said a 5-piece neck?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just overkill. Let's just face it. That's overkill, but it's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, it's like no reason. You know, that's the guy that goes out and buys the biggest gun to go hunt squirrels. But I love it. That's great. You got another one?
So his favorite color is purple.
Okay.
Cool. so we basically redid the exact, and this here gives me a new appreciation of tone woods. So we're looking at the exact same guitar, same pickups, same hardware, a 5-piece neck, but it is flame maple and purple heart.
That body is Purple Heart?
No, the body, the neck, laminate neck is
Okay.
Purple Heart.
I was going to say it's a lot of Purple Heart. Yeah.
And then the sides are Swamp Ash.
Oh, very nice. Oh, so that's heavy.
It's light. It's very
light.
It's actually, I think, a little bit lighter than the other one.
Really?
The Swamp Ash is extremely light on it.
Oh, no kidding.
A rosewood fretboard with Purple Heart binding on this one. He wanted something a little bit different on this bass. Playing at night sometimes has a little bit of difficulties, and I have not heard of anyone doing this before, but we came up with the idea. For anybody out there who's shoots guns, they might have ever used a pistol with the tritium night sights on it. Basically, it's a little glass vial that is about 3 millimeters diameter and about 6 millimeters long. And it's filled with a little radioactive substance called tritium in it, and it glows perpetually for about 50 years. So we installed them in the side dots. So these things, when you shut the lights off, glow like they're on fire, and they don't need charged up with a UV light like the Lumalays do. They are just constantly bright.
So if one of those breaks, what type of superpowers do we get from it?
It's actually a very, very low radiation output to it, but they're a little glass vial, and I embedded them in with epoxy.
Oh, that's very cool.
So it's something that I've never seen on anything before, and he absolutely loves it.
Yeah, I got glow in the dark dots on guitars, but they fade over time.
Yeah,
and
these
you'll get
things
like
will last for about 50 years. The tritium inside them, so
that's
will outlive him and me. So I'm not gonna have to worry about a warranty replacement on them in the future.
That's too funny, man. That's too funny.
And
so,
and also, yeah, if you ever played a guitar with LEDs, sometimes you can get a little bit of background noise from those LEDs.
Oh, they did. No, yeah. I mean, I'm
dead quiet.
Talk about a pet peeve with mine. The people doing the LEDs are great if you're like in a hair metal band and you don't care what it sounds like just for the show of it. But you add electronics to anything, it's gonna mess with your tone. And I'm a purist.
Stainless steel frets on it as well, so
those aren't going anywhere. So what is a normal build time turnaround? Say if I picked up the phone today and I called you, I said, man, I want a guitar. How long does it take?
The V came together really quick. I think we talked about it in December, and I had it delivered here at the beginning of March. So it went together quick. I just completed. So a guy had seen this bass on Facebook from Tennessee. So I'm from central Pennsylvania, so I'm not like too far. Probably, I think you said you're in New Jersey area, New York area, New Jersey area. So I'm not too far from there, but a guy from Tennessee saw this and he's like, I want that exact same bass, except in a 5-string. So I built him this exact same bass, except in a 5-string. And at the time he ordered it in June of last year. And then, COVID had already hit. Yeah. And I ordered the pickups from Bartolini. Great company. Absolutely love them. I think they make the best pickups in the world for a bass. But it took until February 10th for me to get those pickups after ordering them in June. So they were shut down for 3.5 months, I believe.
Yeah. So it's the way it is. All industries like that. I mean, I think people are understanding too,
Oh yeah. He was very understanding with it. But that's why it's kind of hard to say how long it's going to take, because with supply and demand of equipment and parts out there, it might take a little bit longer, but I tried it 5 to 6 months.
Very cool. Now, say if someone called you and said, I like that one guitar that looked like the Music Man, but I have my ideas, maybe I want to do an F-hole slightly different, or if I wanted to, change the neck or do anything like that. If I called you and said, I want a 1959 Gibson Les Paul Jr. neck, but a 25 scale length, but I want 24 frets, not 22. Is that something that you would do?
100%.
Okay.
I strive to build guitars that no one gets. You go to, and I love Fender guitars. I love Gibson guitars, but if you call them up and order a custom, you get a Gibson Les Paul. It doesn't matter. You might get a special finish. You might get special pickups in it, but you're still getting a Les Paul. It's going to be a 24 3/4. It's going to be their model. Where I like to build what the customer actually wants.
That's the right approach.
I won't, once again, I built the V, but it's not a Gibson V. It has its changes. I had a customer contact me and sent me a picture of one of George Lynch's guitars and said, can you build that exact guitar? Absolutely not. I won't build somebody else's guitar. But
Good.
if somebody wanted a guitar similar to that, yeah, but I'm not going to build the exact same thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, folks, we're up against the clock for a commercial. We're going to take a quick break, and Tony hasn't stopped talking the whole time. So when we come back, maybe he'll be quiet or share some more information. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Here at Novell Global, we are the industry leader in fine jewelry craftsmanship. Our handcrafted and custom designed rings, meticulously crafted from the finest precious metals, are perfect for all of your needs, whether that be for an engagement, a wedding, or for everyday fashion. All of our rings are made in America and have been since 1988.
All right, guys. So you were just seeing a quick video of what is the name of the guitar again that you use?
Ghost. That is a
The
ghost.
Ghost. The Ghost. Yeah. That was great playing. It's got a really nice, telly twang to it, but the neck pickup you really didn't get on it. But I'm imagining that it's got that throaty, P90. Is it more of like a honk or more of like the true P90 sound since it's semi-hollow?
It's pretty much that P90 sound coming out of it.
That's awesome.
It's a great sounding pickup. I'm a DiMarzio dealer, and I love and support them as much as I can. There are a lot of great companies out there that make pickups, and I try to go to them. But a lot of times people call you and say, "Hey, I'm looking for this sound." And the easiest way to do it is you buy a DiMarzio pickup, and they sound exactly like the DiMarzio pickup that you're buying.
They make a great product. Definitely. So, Tony, you've been hanging out the whole time. Really didn't say anything, man. So, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
Hanging out with Robert, having fun, trying some guitars out.
That's awesome, man. So, what is your relationship to the company? I know that we talked a little bit before the show, and you are a weekend warrior. You go out there, you play with your band, have fun. I love that. I wish more people would do that as a hobby. Tell us about your musical background. What made you have passion to play?
Oh, geez, boy, that was a long time ago, so it's hard to remember. But yeah, so that was about 35 years ago. I started playing. Just a young kid. Saw the rock stars on TV. Kind of a lost soul in life, and needed something to do. Needed a direction, and that's what I chose.
That's awesome.
Had a passion for the music. Always just stuck with me, even though I worked, didn't really have time for it a lot of times. Always came back to music, went to different hobbies, always came back to music, came back to playing.
That's great. So what's the name of the band that you're in?
Right now, Stacy and the Rejects is current project. I'm one of the Rejects.
I was going to say, well, you're not supposed to judge people today with them saying their names like that. So, Stacy could be man or woman or they, you just don't know. So we just want to, make sure that you're definitely not Stacy.
No.
Okay.
That's my wife.
Oh, actually. You're in a band with your wife?
Yeah, she's a singer. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It is.
That must be really great for family gatherings. Do you guys play around the holidays?
Not a lot, no. Actually, we don't play a lot around the house. It's, we do the weekend warrior thing. We'll do acoustic gigs. We do bar gigs with friends, but sitting around the house now, we actually don't play a whole lot, as some people would think. We'll do something here or there, but learn a new tune. But we don't just off the whim. Yeah, we live life, regular life.
That's fantastic, man. That's nice. That's nice to have that, especially with your partner in life, to be able to go out there and create art. I'm jealous of you. That's an awesome thing to do.
And the best thing is there's nobody yelling at me when I get home at 3 a.m. because she's with me.
That's smart. That's really smart. So you guys you said you're just a duet, or do you have a full band with you?
Well, we have a full band. Yeah.
Nice. So another guitar player, bass player, drummer. How's that work?
Guitar, bass, drums, and she's lead vocals.
Very cool. Yep. And you guys do a lot of covers or do you originals?
Mostly covers, yeah. We've done some originals in the past with some friends, and tough market for originals here, so we just kind of stick with the bar music, the party music, and just really just enjoy the weekend, enjoy it.
That's
Get out.
awesome. That's awesome.
fun.
So if I was to come to a bar and hear you play, what are 3 songs I hear on your set list?
Oh, 3 songs. What we got? Maybe some Journey.
Cranberries, Zombie, really
Yeah.
popular one with them.
Yeah.
Being the female singer,
Yeah.
she kicks it up. She does a heart Barracuda. Is Barracuda you guys do? Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Barracuda's one.
so-
Heartbreaker. A little bit of Pat Bonatar. We're 80s generation, 80s kids. Like to
That's very cool.
relive the day, I guess. We'll branch into a little bit of country stuff, a little bit more oldies. Just kind of hit the whole gamut.
Very good. And the style guitar that you play that Robert makes is the one that you're holding?
I have the Music Lander. I have one of those.
Which one?
actually.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
We didn't even
So-
see that one. Jeez.
Yeah.
Is that zebra wood?
That is ambrosia maple. So it
Oh
is
my
flame
God.
maple with so a little beetle bores its worms into the wood.
Uh-huh.
And as it releases its excrements, it causes these stripes.
That's bug.
Yeah, it's bug coming
I want a
out.
bug striped guitar. That's awesome, man.
But it's a flame maple, and then you get those stripes going up through it. This is a maple neck with an ebony fretboard. And then the back is ash.
My
and-
God, look at that.
I hit that with a torch.
Yes, you
and-
did.
And the finish just came out spectacular on it. Just a maple neck once again, 2 carbon fiber rods, good truss rod in it.
Is there amber in the back of that, or is that the lighting? Is it a
That's
metallic
probably-
finish?
The neck is I did a vintage amber dye to the neck.
Okay. Oh no, the body. Is it metallic at all, or is that just the
Nope.
lighting?
Nope, that's just the light coming through, and then
Man, is that beautiful.
plastic cover pick guard on this one. This is actually my economy model. It features once again all hip shot hardware, the Marzio pickups, hip shot tuners on it. But this guitar is about a 1250 guitar.
That's
I don't-
not bad.
I don't do a whole lot. I don't do an inlay on it on the headstock, so it saves me a little bit. I actually bought one of those little laser burners, and I just do my inlay that way. So that saves me some time and some money doing it. So this is a 1250 guitar. The Marzio, the new Petrucci pickups on it. Some of the
Okay.
best sounding pickups I've heard in a guitar. So, but yeah, this is my budget model. Still has the all access neck joint. 24.
Is that
fret.
offset dots on the
Yeah.
fretboard?
Yeah. one
So
little
where's this
offset on it.
is switch at the 12th?
12th fret it switches. I don't do a traditional 2-dot 12th fret. I
Mhm.
do a 2 small dots and 1 big dot in the middle on the 12th fret.
That's really cool, man.
And
That's
it
really
just gives it a
cool.
little bit different.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, I personally don't use fret markers because I find them distracting when I'm playing, because I'm one of those guys that needs to look where I'm playing. I'm not that good, but the offset ones, like the old Gretsch, I was able to do. But that's really neat how that cuts through.
And this was the original first guitar I built in that shape. It's patterned off of the Fender Swinger.
hmm
I think Warmoth releases something similar to it called the Music Lander, and that's kind of where I got the name. I call it the Music Caster.
Is that a Wilkinson 510?
Yep, Wilkinson 510 trem on it.
That's
Porter-
nice.
Porter pickups. The Fender Swinger, the horn down here is kind of smaller, and I wanted to be able to put a standard Fender Strat pickguard on it, just to give it that look. So
It looks like one of those, what do they call them? Their future mashup guitars,
yeah,
whatever
like
it's called.
like the Ventura.
Yeah,
or
no,
something
they
like that,
did
yeah.
like this whole future series back when they had the pawn shop amplifiers.
Yeah.
That looks like something that could have come out of the Fender factory after the guys went on a bender the night before and wanted to draw something cool. Like that looks like something Fender could have done, and that's really attractive.
And I did a Gretsch style thumbnail
Oh yeah, there you go.
on the
Yeah.
So
The only other place I've seen those recently is on Steve Stevens Nags. I just love those because it's for those that are just listening. The marker is on the inside of the fretboard where you can look down, and it acts as a marker and also the inlay. It's really neat.
yeah, so you can see it as a side dot and as a face dot.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like that. That's sharp. It's clean. Wow. So what type of nut are you running on that? Is that a Graphtec?
Yeah, Graphtec Tusk. This is the white one. I use it depending on what I'm looking for. On this guitar, I was looking for the very white, clean finish, the white pick guard, the white pickups. It's actually a very close sonic blue. You probably can't see it through the camera, but
No, it looks very white. But
yeah,
we'll put up pictures.
It's washed out, but it's very close to the Fender Sonic Blue, close as I could get it by looking at a picture. So, and then I went with the white tuner buttons, the hip shot white tuner buttons on it too, to give it a little bit of.
It's got a classy look to it. It really does. Now, is that a Fender scale or is that 25?
This is a 24-inch scale.
24.
Yes. I had been contacted by a couple female guitarists and
Makes sense.
some smaller hands, and put together a few of them. Actually, this one, and built another one in the exact same genre, except a little more purple. But the same basic build, body style,
And 24-inch scale length.
24-inch scale length, yeah.
Wow. So that I mean, just translating that for me to pass it on to the folks that are listening. When I play a guitar with a shorter scale length, I feel like I'm getting into banjo territory with how tight the strings are.
Yeah.
What are you doing to compensate for the extra string tension?
Lighter gauge strings.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
So that would be an excellent guitar for either someone smaller stature, maybe someone learning that wants to get into boutique to begin with.
Yes.
But I could tell you right now, if that was at a 25-inch scale length, you'd be looking really, really close to some of the specs that are on the John Mayer signature, the Silver Sky. By looking at that, it would have very similar specs. So folks, if you can't wait for a Silver Sky because they're on back order, besides the slight altercation in the bottom of the body on that, looks very similar. And you said that you'd work with scale length, right?
Yeah, I can change scale.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Fender should have put this out in the factory, and it's one of those guitars that they didn't. And it's just
that was the
really
entire
sharp
idea of that guitar when I built it. Was I wanted it to look like a guitar that Fender made in 1965, put it in a box, and then somebody just opened it up today.
It does. It looks like it.
Yeah.
I would say more so the 70s when everybody was like done with the acid and it was starting to wear off, and they're like, oh, we could start to think again. And they started coming out with all these weird designs at Gibson and Fender, like mimic kind of what they were doing. Totally see that, but on the positive side of it, not some of the junk they actually put out. So that is fantastic. Do you exhibit at NAMM or any of the trade shows?
No, like I said, last year, October 19 is when I decided to go full time at it. I opened up my doors the first week of March of 2020.
Good call, man.
My doors shut pretty much March 15th of 2020.
Oh,
I also do, like I said before, I went to Crimson Guitars to kind of learn not how to build a guitar, but how to teach how to build a guitar. So that's kind of where my passion is pushing me right now. Is I teach a 6-day guitar building class.
Okay, cool.
Similar to what they do at Crimson Guitars, but affordable for people who live in the United States. I know people can't afford to travel to England, take the class, and there's not a lot of places in the US where you can go build a guitar in 6 days. They want to give you a 3-month class or something like that, where in 6 days you can build this exact guitar in 6 days.
All right. So this is a twist that I wasn't aware of, folks. This is like Twilight Zone territory. This is awesome. So I go to Pennsylvania, right? I go get a hotel for 6 days, and I can come to your shop and I could build one of those guitars and leave with one of those guitars. What does the class cost with the purchase of the instrument?
The class tuition is $1,000 for 6 days.
Okay.
And then
that's
price
reasonable.
of materials. And right now I'm going to throw this offer out there to any of your viewers. If they contact me, I have basically this exact setup, hardware wise, wood wise, ready to go. $1,400 for the entire tuition and the materials right now.
So they would come in and build it with you.
With 6 days, they can build this guitar.
$1,400. All right. So I'm going to put this out there. So my friends that are luthiers, you guys like to spy. This is your chance. Pay the man $1,000, right? Or, realistically, that's cool. Now where exactly are you in relation to major city in?
I'm about an hour and a half east of Pittsburgh. So kind of right in between Pittsburgh and Harrisburg.
Okay.
It's a very small community. Actually, you said hotels. There are no hotels. There's a couple bed and breakfasts.
Gotcha.
And I actually talked to a few of them and have worked out a pretty good arrangement for students. I just had 2 students come in at the beginning of March. That was my second class because of COVID. I had one last year at the beginning of March, and I just had a class with 2 students. Normally it's going to be a one-on-one class, but this was a father-son duo that came out.
That's
He
cool,
built,
man.
some of the pictures are on my Instagram page, but he built the father built a Strat, basically a Fender Strat, roasted ash body, and we with a flame maple, roasted flame maple neck, and the son built a 7-string multi-scale. So I had to.
Wow.
It took me. His was a little bit more expensive of a class.
Fan fret or just
fan fret headless 7-string.
for his first guitar built ever?
He actually took a class and built an acoustic prior to this.
No, I mean, fan fret multi-scale 7-string. I'm guessing he wasn't playing jazz.
No, he plays.
Yeah.
It had a very weird tuning setup. He plays a lot of Celtic music.
Oh, that makes sense then.
It's basically dadgad tuning, except with another 7th string.
And what was this? What was the low string tuned to?
I can't even remember it now. B,
B.
C, B or C. I can't remember off the top
Q,
of my head. I
who
can't
knows,
remember.
right?
It was
But,
odd. I know. I
that's
picked it up
cool.
and tried to play it, and my fingers felt like I didn't know what I was doing.
But he
with
was
that
in a
tuning.
week's time. He was able to build that guitar in your shop.
In about, it was 6 days, but I probably put about 4 days of pre-work into it, building templates, gluing the neck blank together, getting a lot of it pre-done.
Okay.
We had the fretboard pre-cut with the CNC, just because it was going to be a time-consuming build.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of math in that.
oh yeah,
There's a whole lot of math in that.
yeah.
That's
and
impressive.
Yeah. So, but it turned out fantastic. So it was a pretty fun job. But once again, that's not $1,000 class. For
Of
that,
course not.
something
No, I
like
mean,
that.
that's, I
Because
mean, you
it
can't
did
get a
take-
good multi-scale guitar for under $4,000. So
Yeah. So
yeah. So where do you see your company in the next, 2-3 years? What do you plan on doing?
I would like to continue on with the classes. Right now, with the way things have been with COVID, my main source of income has been repairs. Just because there is no one in our area that does fret work, that does repair work. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last year or so, keeping me afloat. And just now I'm starting to get some more business building customs again. And then starting to get a little bit of interest with the classes.
Very cool. Let's go back to Tony. Tony, what'd you have for dinner, man? Let's have a conversation.
What to have for dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, salmon, asparagus, and potatoes. Actually,
Oh man, that sounds so much better than what I had. That's
Try to eat
great.
healthy.
I had soup.
Well,
All
that's
right. So what do you do for your day job?
I work for a local electric utility. So yep, I got a good steady gig.
That's cool, man. That's cool. And a lot of people that listen to this show, they have day jobs and they are the weekend warrior. And I honestly feel like a lot of people give the weekend warriors crap, but no, you're the backbone of everything. You go out to a bar and you're playing cover songs, it's going to bring people back to a memory. They're going to enjoy their time that night and possibly build new ones with songs that they grew up with or that have been on the radio before. And it takes a hell of a musician to be a performing artist. And not everybody can write music, but not everybody can perform music. So that's an awesome thing that you do. Makes people happy. Are you guys playing out right now, or are you,
We just started getting a few things in. They're starting to loosen a little bit of the restrictions. Yeah, so we had a good 3-week stretch there of hitting a couple bars.
that's cool.
But we were really off for quite a while. So it is a good thing. I don't rely on that to put food on the table. That's definitely for sure. But
Yeah.
things are starting to look a little more hopeful, and summer's coming around. So, last summer we had a couple jobs, a lot of the good, local firemen's festivals and things like that we usually try to play. They all got canceled. We actually had a lot of really nice jobs canceled the year before. But, this year's looking a little better.
There you go, man. Yeah. I mean, the whole industry, you know, the whole world is screwed up. I mean, we can't say that enough, but I think it's great that you're, you know, sticking with it. You're doing it. I find it such a heartwarming story that you and your wife go out and do this and you're having fun. And that's the best type of fun I know I could have. Well, I shouldn't say that. Legally, that's the best type of fun that I can have. Yeah. So we are running up against the clock. And I got to go film another one of these tonight. All right. But, you know, if you had to sum up your guitars that separates them from not just what's mass produced, but, you know, I think there's like 130, 140 really great small luthiers that fall into a niche category of, I want a custom built guitar, but I don't want to spend 10 grand on it. You know, I want something that's going to bring out my musical ability and I'm able to express myself as an artist because of the scale length, the body shape, you know, even the color of it, the way that it feels in my hand. You know, what is it about your instruments that separates you from all those other builders within that same category?
When I build, I start from the beginning. I talk to the customer, what they're looking for, and I come up with a theme with the guitar. Like the red guitar that we were looking at earlier, it has red Jasper fret marker dots that match the red coloring. It has red purfling strips that match the binding. It has red control knobs on it. So I kind of build that theme, and then I try to pick the best lumber for the guitar. We were talking earlier with the two basses, exact same basses, same pickup, same scale length, same construction, different woods. They sound completely different. They both sound great, but the one that has the maple and the purple heart neck is a lot brighter, a lot punchier. And the one with the walnut and wenge neck is a little more subdued, a little bit more mellow. So I start with the wood. I brought some stuff with me.
Oh, he's showing us his wood. Watch out.
Yep, just a nice piece of roasted flame
aside.
maple.
Can you hold that a little bit closer?
Sure. You can see some of the flame in it.
That's your fretboards?
That's a fretboard, yeah.
You could see that dancing. My
Yeah.
God, is that good wood?
This is something to behold. This is one half of a book match top for a guitar. That's
So you
coming
do
along.
book matched.
Yes, yes.
That's awesome.
And then
I like that when you get the fun designs, like in the wood, maybe you see a face in it. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is black walnut, and this has some flame and figure in it as well.
Now with the black walnut, do you have to do a wood filler for the grain?
Yes. Yes.
What do you use?
I use, like I said before, I use a crystal lac, bright
Okay.
tone finishing lacquer, and they make a water-based wood grain filler as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. Walnut is my favorite wood for the back of a guitar. Like my formula is, depending on the neck and the scale length, it
Yeah.
goes from Carina to mahogany, but walnut and maple together, it just makes a beautiful
Yeah.
sound. It's snappy, but it's not too in your face. It almost feels like you have a vintage guitar that was made out of mahogany and maple. If you go with like a big leaf maple and a walnut back, but yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So folks, this is an awesome option for you. You know, I always say you got to have, you know, different tools in your toolbox. And yes, these guitars are going to emulate other ones that you've seen before. It may sound like them, but it's all about playability and being able to control your instrument and having the freedom of being able to get a hand sculpted neck and, you know, adjust, you know, get the scale length changed and make these modifications to a style of guitar that you're maybe familiar with can open up a whole new door for you. So before we end this evening, why don't you tell everybody where they should go to check you out?
Mine on Facebook, it is Livingston Custom Guitars, which is what LC Guitars stands for. And then on Instagram, LC Guitars USA. At LC
Fantastic.
Guitars USA.
All right, guys, until next time, be kind to each other. Please stop busting each other's chops on social media. Please come together as a community to promote music. And like always, Joe Bonamassa, stop buying all the guitars. Please leave a few for schmucks like me. Till next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Ricky's Picks.
Well, hey guys, I'm back again for another edition of Ricky's Picks. Love the camera angle, probably the worst one on the internet, but you got to deal with it. I scour Spotify for some of the best unsigned, underappreciated, or just unknown bands to the American audience. There may even be a hit or two amongst the bunch. Imagine that. Going to kick it off with the Young Hearts, Still Wander. They're a nice UK band, solemn lyrics, cool beat, good melody. They've been around a little while, but it sounds like they found their footing. Nice to see. I have a hard time saying this band's name. I get a little spittle in the corner of my mouth. But the Moon City Masters, their song Taking It Back, it'll make you smile whether you like it or not. You're going to forget your troubles and you're just going to bop along. Cat Stevens said it's a wild world out there. It is. This will make you forget it all. We have Mammoth WVH. It's Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang. His song You're to Blame is a chugging follow-up to that beautiful tribute to his dad's. I dare you to listen to that song and not cry. This is completely different. It's a chugging rocker. If I haven't mentioned that before, I probably have. But you know what? We're going to say it again. Chugging rocker. Say it 3 times. Chugging rocker, chugging rocker, chugging rocker. If you like Shine Down, if you like that mid-2000s sound, this is just for you. I love this song. Cadillac 3's Road Soda. Rock guitars, country-style lyrics. Have you ever been to a Waffle House? They have these lyrics, she's sweeter than sweet tea. That's all you need to know. And if you've been to a Waffle House, you will know. Drink that sweet tea, it sticks to your teeth. Hot Breath's Bad Feeling. Part glam, part punk, part garage rock. It's all fun. Up next, we have the Dust Coated Jimmy 2 Times. It's a funky tune that tells a story. It's kind of like Smooth Criminal, a little harder. Be sure to check out their very entertaining video on YouTube. Suddenly I pause for no reason. Again, we'll take care of an editing, or maybe we won't. It's all right. We'll just keep going. King, Never Give In. How does a UK band have such a Texas rock sound? I don't know, but they do it pretty well. I dig it. Johnny Monaco's LA Vacation. I just rediscovered this. This was from a few years back. It's Elvis Costello as if he was born and raised in California, throwing a tiny bit of Brian Wilson, throwing a tiny bit of 90s of that pop punk. I think it's biographical, but you know, who am I to say? PJ Farley's Let It Rain. It's jazzy, it's laid back. I start off sipping the wine when I listen to this song. I'm chugging it by the end. The guitars kick in. It's got a lot of layers. PJ was part of the classic 80s hard rock scene. He's really come a long way. I dig it. We have the Dead Daisies, Holy Ground. Well, holy moly. These are veteran rockers. They're showing the kids how it's done. It's a real all-star lineup, but they don't sound rooted in their classic sounds. Glenn Hughes' voice still cranks. He's been in Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, too many bands to mention. He's better than kids a third of his age, and yes, he's been around that long, but there are singers out there that are a third of his age. Finally, we have my favorite band from Manchester. These lads, Thunder. Last one, Turn Out the Lights. Danny Bowes delivers a great vocal. He's got urgency. He doesn't sound out of place with today's Black Honey, Dirty Honey, the honey bands. There's so many honey bands out there. It's diabetes for music, I guess. These are slightly older guys doing their thing. Welcome back. Their last album was Too Laid Back. This one is just rocking right along. Want to be considered for Ricky's picks? Email me your Spotify link, rick@gearguyspodcast.com. I'll see what I can do. Send me a t-shirt. Hey, I'll wear it on the air. Thanks. Be well. Sorry for stinking.